Hello, in today's demonstration, I'm going to use a single line of movement as a painting structure. But first, I'm going to do some color mixing, and I'm going to use those in my painting. I picked a Cobalt Teal and a Cadmium Yellow, Cobalt being sort of the darker one. Okay. So usually when I'm mixing, I put colors at either end of my palette, and I'm going to reserve some of that original yellow, and then I put, usually it's the darker color or like the more intense one. I'm just going to put a tiny amount and mix it into that yellow. Why is my camera not focusing? How completely annoying. Come on, I don't know what's, okay, there we go. Don't know what's going on there. So I'm going to get kind of an unusual yellow-green. Now, I know for my painting, I'm going to need more paint than that, so I'm going to squeeze out some more yellow here, and I'm going to bring in a significantly more of the cobalt. What is that? Cobalt teal. Ah, that's a beautiful color. Okay. So I've got right now I've got 4 different colors, 2 mixtures. I think I'm going to do one more because that's so pretty. And I just picked my colors today sort of intuitively. I'm like, I wonder what's going to happen when I mix those two. I wonder what I'll get. Sometimes you get something you like and it's worth repeating. Okay, so what I do is I scoop and I smush, I scoop and I smush. I like the angled palette knife. It's easier than some of the others to me. Okay, put more of this back. Okay, so now I'm ready to go. And I'm going to show layering. So I'm going to put a wash on. I'm just using a piece of Bristol paper. I'm going to make a light yellow wash. I'm going to draw my movement line, and then I'm going to start building other colors on top. I'm going to use my Looster wash brush, just adding water to this. So that's pretty bright. If I didn't want it that bright, an easy way to lighten that would be to blot some of that paint. I'm going to blot a little bit with this napkin. Didn't make a huge difference. Okay, now I'm going to put some sort of a movement line on here. And I like to use, you could use pencil. I like using charcoal pencil. Let's see. So I had that swoosh mark on the other one. What could I do that's different here? This is normally where I'd have some thumbnail sketches and predetermine. I think I'm just going to go radiating composition. I'm going to go radiating. I'm going to put several lines. And actually, just for fun, I'm going to add some darker lines. I want to see if that's going to show through with my paint. But this isn't necessary. You don't have to do this. But I'm going to play with this and see if some of these show through and add interest. Okay. All right, now I'm going to switch over to brayer, and I'm going to mimic those movements. I'm going to start with my lightest color, and then I'm going to start building my painting from there and bring in some other tools. So again, brayer, very light touch. This does not show up super well, so I'm going to go on to my next color. I'm going to go onto this greenish mixture here. Again, I'm not even bothering to rinse my brayer. I'm just getting the big picture. Okay, I like that better. I like that those charcoal pencil lines are showing through. Okay, now I'm going to shift gears. I've got enough of a foundation. I'm going to shift gears, and I'm going to bring in my silicone spatcher paintbrush. Let me adjust this so you can see it better. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. Let me see the full picture. Okay, so now I'm going to start putting in some thicker blobs of paint. I can make long lines. Someone needs to mute themselves, please. So I like that the paint glides off of this silicone spatula, and then if I use the top edge, I can carve paint. I can carve into it, carve some of it out. If you don't have one, you can also use your angled palette knife. And depending on if I go light touch and I drag, I'm going to get more impasto paint. That's thicker paint. Okay, again, I can carve in, I can carve back, which I like. If I apply the paint with really firm pressure, I get a transparency. So I like playing with heavy pressure, light pressure to get different thicknesses of paint. Okay, so that's a pretty good structure. At this point in my mind, I'm thinking it's time to add more color. So red would be an obvious choice because that's complementary. I've got the indigo that I've been playing with. That would be darker and more contrasting. I've got this interesting saffron color. So I kind of hold it up to the painting. I go, wow, that would be really nice next to the turquoise, maybe some smaller dots of the indigo. And for some reason, I'm thinking about this neutral. I actually think I'm going to neutralize some of this here. Again, operating off of instinct here by holding the tube up. You can also make color swatches like on a little piece of paper. I could paint this color and I could hold it up to see if that's what I want. Okay. All right. So a neutral is going to change this quite a bit. I'm scraping kind of firmly. So what I can do is I can come in thicker later, but it's easier to start thinner in case I don't want it that thick. Okay. So always when I have this much color, I like having a neutral in there as kind of a foil or contrast. Okay. I'm going to go with the saffron now, and I'll try and use maybe some finer brushes. So I'm playing with different size marks for contrast. Haven't done anything with a round brush. See if I can actually change my mind. I'm going to use my favorite angled palette knife, because then I get these I get chunks of paint, but then I get these scrapey marks. Little pops of color interacting. Okay, now I'm going to shift gears and go indigo, maybe down here, go a little darker so it feels more weighted. Do a little Sgrafitto here. So a lot of my way I apply paint tends to be kind of chunky, blocky. So I'm putting in some squiggle marks in there to sort of break up that pattern. Maybe I put some red in here. Not a whole lot. Okay, I think I'm going to end with this light phthalo green. Running out of palette space here. Okay, now I'm using the top edge of this brush. It's a little goopy. So if I just tap down on that brush, I get these straight lines. It's like a stamping tool. Okay, and just feeling like I want more of this charcoal pencil in there. This is where doing your oodles helps. You get comfortable making these funny little squiggle marks that you can then bring into your work. Okay, now I'm so in the flow that I could lose it, so better stop getting so into it. Okay, we'll take a photograph and share.